Okay then, in this video we will discuss lists in Python. So here we have an example of the list in Python. As you can see, a list allows you to store multiple items in a single variable. So here we have 4 items: James, Anna, Simon, and Simon again. And I am storing this list in this variable called names. So if you would like to create a list in Python, you need to store, or let's say you just need to create your elements inside this kind of square bracket. Okay, so let's discuss some of the important features of the list in Python. So list items in Python are ordered. So that means they are ordered in certain way, and you can access them by specifying index. So for instance, this one is index 0, this one is 1, this one is 2, this one is 3, and etc. So if you would like to access any of the element of the list, so you can easily do that. So for instance, let's access the first element, which is James. So you just need to say names, and then you need to specify index. So in this case, James will be index 0 because the counting starts from 0. So if you run this main.py, the output will be James. Okay. So, and another important feature of the list in Python is lists are changeable. Or in other words, list items are changeable. So that means you can change, add, and remove elements in a list. So for instance, if you would like to change this one, let's say James, let's change this one to something else. So if you want to do that, you can easily change it. So you just say names and then index, which would be 0. And then here you specify a value which will be instead of James. So let's say Laura. So now let's print names again, and this time around it's gonna be Laura instead of James. So let's check. As you can see, it's now Laura, Anna, Simon, and Simon again. Okay, so that means you can change, add, and remove items. We'll see adding and removing items in the list later on. Okay, so now as you can see, list allows you to create a duplicate element. Duplicate elements. So in here we have Simon, which is in 2 places, right? So there is a duplicate. So that's totally acceptable. Okay, and I would like to also point out that you can create a list which contains different data types. So for instance, let me give you an example. So I'll say list 1, and then in here I can say, hey, this is James, for instance, and then I can mix up, for instance, integer data type, then boolean, for instance, and then for instance again string, like this, and it's totally acceptable, right? So if you would like to print this, you can easily do that. So let's check that. As you can see, it's working as expected, so no problem at all. So now let's quickly discuss accessing elements in more detail. So as I just showed you, you can access any element of the list by specifying index number, but you can also specify negative index number. So for instance, if you would like to access the last item, so you can say -1, so it's gonna be then the last item. Okay, so let's check this. So as you can see, it's now female, so that's -1, and -2 will be this one, true. So I'll show this one to you very quickly. So that's now true. Okay, so if you specify positive number, you will start from the left, and if it's negative number, it starts from the right to the left. Okay, and you can also do range. You can specify a range. For instance, this will be starting index, and then the end index will be this one, for instance. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying print indexes from 1 to 3, excluding 3. So there would be then 1, 2, but 3 will be excluded. So that means 30, 34 and true will be printed out in here. Okay, so let's check. So as you can see now, it says 34 and true. Again, so it's a start index, and that's a finish index or end index. And then when you specify end index, the number you see will be excluded. So for instance, this is index number 3, so that means it will be excluded. So 1 and 2 will be included, but 3 will be excluded. Okay, so that's it regarding this video, and I will see you in the next one.